Everybody has written this, all of it.
जी.
If somebody is, अगर आपको लग रहा है, if somebody is not able to write with the same speed or is not able to cope up with the speed, they can also take screenshots and then they can later write it down. But writing it down is very important. All right, let's take another example. Let's take another example of magnesium chloride. How do we know it is an ionic compound? Because it involves a metal and a non-metal. Is this clear? Now, this is magnesium MgCl2. This was NaCl. One of the important things that arises over here is that how are we going to determine the formula of an ionic compound? Right? One of the questions that arises here is how to make a formula or how to predict the formula of ionic compound. I'm only talking about ionic compound at the moment. It's very easy. What you need to do is number one, make the metal or ionize the metal, right? Sorry, make a metallic ion. When we talk about magnesium, what is the electronic configuration for magnesium? 282, right? So it loses an electron, so it needs to become, it's going to lose these two electrons, it needs to become 2 plus 2 electrons, right? Making sense? Then second, what we need to do is make an anion. Let's say we are talking about chlorine. So chlorine is what? Loses an electron. Oh, sorry, gets an electron, gains an electron and becomes Cl negative. So what you're going to do is we are going to be, this is Mg2 plus and this is Cl negative, one negative. We are going to make this superscript as the subscript of this, and we are going to make this superscript as the subscript of this. Do you understand this?
सर आप फिर से रिपीट करेंगे यही जो अभी आपने बताया.
After you have made the ions, just write down both of them together. Just write them down in their ionic form, both of them together. You are going to make this superscript. This is the superscript. ये जो ऊपर वाला होता है, this is superscript. And you're going to bring it down over here. You're going to put -1. We're going to put just 1 over here. And this is the subscript. It's called subscript. And you're going to bring this superscript here as its subscript. Right? Just something like you can just imagine that you can just cross multiply. Bring it here and bring this here. So what's going to become? Mg1 and Cl2. Did you get it?
लेकिन सर
ये पूछिएगा. Mg का 2 प्लस आप इधर ले आए Cl के पास नीचे, और Cl का 1 इधर आप ले आए Mg के पास नीचे. तो इससे आपका फॉर्मूला बन जाएगा, आयोनिक फॉर्मूला, राइट? Chemical formula of an
Yes.
ionic compound. Let's take another example. हमारे पास Mg था, right? Sorry, NaCl. We had Na. Na is 1 plus, Cl is 1 negative. So this is going to come here and this is going to come here. So it becomes Na1 and Cl1. You don't need to write 1 and 1. If it's the same, you don't need to write it down. It's going to say NaCl. Make sense? Hmm?
जी.
Let's say MgO, magnesium oxide. So magnesium we know is what? Magnesium oxide. So magnesium is what? 2 plus. Oxygen is what? 2 negative. You need to bring this here and you need to bring this here. So it becomes Mg2 and O2. 2 and 1 cancels out and it becomes what? MgO 1 1, or you don't need to write 1 1. Did you get it? How do we get to know? How do we know whether this is an ionic compound, Alishbag? Alishbag, how do we get to know this is an ionic compound?
Um,
Hmm? Yes, Hadia. Eligeen, how do we get to know?
yes.
Hmm? How do we get to know this is an ionic compound MgO? बस सिंपल है यार, इतनी देर से हम ये पढ़ रहे हैं. Yes, Hadia.
सर आपकी आवाज कट रही है.
How do we get to know that this is an ionic compound? MgO कैसे पता लग रहा है हादिया? कैसे पता लग रहा है कि ये ionic compound है? बहुत सिंपल सी बात थी यार, ये तो सबको पता होना चाहिए था. भाई ये मेटल है, ये नॉन मेटल है.
सर क्योंकि नॉन मेटल और मेटल की बॉन्डिंग हुई है.
वेरी गुड भाई, ये पता होना चाहिए कि मेटल और नॉन मेटल जब भी आपस में केमिकली बॉन्ड बनाएंगे तो आयनिक बॉन्ड होगा. इतनी देर से ये बातें लिख तो रहे ऊपर हम. Always takes place between a metal and a non-metal, between a cation and an anion. Okay? और ये एक इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन होती है between two oppositely charged ions. Right? We have understood the formation, we have understood the chemical formula. Is there any queries up till now? G. Illigeen, would you like to ask anything? जी इलीन, आवाज आ रही है आपको?
जी
कोई चीज ऐसी है जो नहीं समझ में आ रही है, पूछें.
सर मुझे कुछ समझ ही नहीं आया.
क्यों?
लाइक थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ आया, फिर बाद में अब क्लिक ही नहीं हो रहा.
ठीक है, क्या पॉइंट नहीं समझ में आया?
स्टेप 1 से सर.
स्टेप 1 से फॉर्मेशन ऑफ आयन से.
हाँ